Coming up on Mountain News at 6, we continue to follow a pair of murder investigations in Rockcastle County. Hear from one of the suspects from jail coming up. And for the first time since he took over the position, we'll hear from Elkhorn City's interim mayor about his plans for the town.
Plus, we are tracking some summer-like weather for midweek. Those details on the way as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Two men are dead, the result of apparent separate shootings in one Kentucky county. One happened last weekend, the other yesterday in different parts of Rockcastle County. One suspect is now talking from jail. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on what he had to say and what police are investigating in both crimes.
Clayton Cox is charged with murder. Kentucky State Police say that his actions caused the death of Josh Dooley. From jail, Cox describes a series of events that took place that led up to what took place over the weekend here in Rockcastle County.
No, this is not justified. I'm sitting in a hole and that man's dead, and this is all going on because nobody will answer 911.
Clayton Cox claimed that he'd been a victim of numerous thefts for months and no one answered his calls for help. Kentucky State Police say Joshua Dooley was found shot to death in his home on Goochland Cave Road, and that Cox admitted to going to the victim's home and firing into it.
That should never have come to pass. No, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have never got to that point. The law should have come there when I called them 11 times back.
State police are also investigating the murder of Benjamin Jones. They say that his body was found just before noon Monday on Sand Hill Road near Livingston. Terry L. Burke is facing charges in that case. We do not know exactly why police arrested Terry L. Burke. The information that they gave us does not really explain that, other than they gathered some kind of evidence there at the scene on Sand Hill Road. They came here to Misty Lane in Mount Vernon and arrested Terry L. Burke. We did ask to see if he'd like to speak to us from jail, but he declined. In Rockcastle County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Phil, thank you. Kentucky State Police say they are still trying to pinpoint exactly when Dooley was shot and killed. One person is dead after a crash in Pike County. Police say the two-vehicle crash happened on Kentucky Route 122 in the Robinson Creek community yesterday. Troopers discovered a motorcycle drove into the back of a truck. 46-year-old Anthony Burke of Virgie was the driver of the motorcycle. Burke was pronounced dead at the scene by the Pike County Coroner's Office. In Wayne County, a man is in custody facing multiple charges after deputies say he was trespassing at his ex-girlfriend's house. The sheriff's office got a call yesterday from a woman who told them her ex-boyfriend, Christopher Barnett, was inside her home. The deputies found him inside a bedroom and arrested him. After exiting the home, Barnett threatened to kill the woman and her family and had to be physically restrained by officers. He also caused damage to a deputy's cruiser. We have an update on a story we first brought you last week where a man was stabbed to death in Leslie County. Police have now found the suspect in connection to the stabbing of 43-year-old Rodney Bowling. 51-year-old Darren Hensley has been arrested without incident. Hensley is accused of stabbing Bowling last week at a home on Kentucky 406. A man has pleaded guilty to a charge of vehicular homicide by intoxication in a deadly boat crash that happened last year in Claiborne County, Tennessee. Officials with the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency says last year on July 22nd, Norman Joe Sturgill was boating when he crashed into another boat near Norris Landing Marina. 12-year-old Connor Catlett was killed in the crash. Sturgill faces 8 years in prison, then 8 years of probation.
We are tracking some more spotty downpours on this Tuesday evening up on First Alert Pinpoint Doppler. That will continue pushing off to the south and east over the next little bit there. But notice over central Kentucky, some drier air will continue to push in as we go into your Tuesday night. But right now, we are still tracking a few light to moderate showers from Bell County pushing into Claiborne County. Also for Harlan, Letcher, Lee, and Wise counties over in Virginia. And some more light to moderate showers in Pike County, moving into parts of Martin, also Mingo and Logan counties over in West Virginia. California. So if you have those plans this evening, a few showers are possible. Those current temperatures in the upper 60s to lower 70s, up to 68 for Hazard, 71 for London, 77 over in Somerset, and 75 over in Estill County for Irvin at this hour. Now we are trending drier, also cooler and more clear by late Tuesday. Lows in the middle 50s to wake up on Wednesday, but some summer-like weather is on the way for midweek. We see some more sunshine, also some well above average highs. Those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. With new leadership at the helm, officials in Elkhorn City say they are working to move past financial distress and into the future they dreamed of. WYMT's Buddy Forbes sat down with the city's interim mayor to hear the plans for progress.
Nathan Bryant says Elkhorn City's financial fumbles didn't happen overnight, and they won't be solved overnight.
I don't think it was anything criminal or anything like that. I think it was just negligence and lack of training.
The city councilman took the interim mayor's seat when Mayor Mike Taylor resigned his position amidst community uproar. That came after issues of mismanaged finances, miscommunications, and other concerns were brought to light in December of last year.
You can't keep looking in the rearview mirror. You've got to look through the windshield.
So following an audit from the state, Bryant and the council are working to respond and recover, completing a financial audit to create a budget, open the city's frozen projects, and clear up any misappropriations.
We have to help ourselves, and we have a really good crew up here, good team, and the community. I know they'll do whatever they can, and we've got to be more transparent moving forward with the community.
Bryant says the new city clerk will be properly trained, and city workers will receive uniforms, which are only a couple of the plans in place to increase the professionalism of the city offices. But a major focus is being placed on getting the finances figured out.
But getting those financial audits done every year will definitely help us on our budget. That's something that we hadn't done in the past. I think they've done every other year. So we're going to get those caught up.
He says the community concern has not gone unheard, and he hopes to continue to see people pushing for accountability and advancements.
Everybody says Elkhorn City has the river, which we do, you know, we have kayaking, we have ATV trails, but our greatest assets are our citizens, the people of Elkhorn City.
Saying it will take time and teamwork.
But I have a really positive outlook on it. I know we're going to make this town, you know, what it used to be and even better.
To get things back on track. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Though the first complete audit is not expected to be finished until the end of the summer, Bryant says the city has responded to State Auditor Allison Ball and is working to improve on every item noted by the office. Kentucky is now the first state to decriminalize medical errors. That means healthcare workers in our state cannot be criminally prosecuted for making honest mistakes on the job. Supporters of the new law say it will help recruit and retain medical workers because they won't have to fear facing criminal charges. And while the law protects healthcare workers from so-called honest mistakes, it does not mean they have complete immunity from legal prosecution.
It allows for criminal prosecution when it comes to intentional acts. And so if you're a rogue doctor performing surgeries willfully or intentionally harming individuals, then of course you should be criminally prosecuted.
This was the first time this legislation was introduced in Kentucky. Substance abuse has been an ongoing issue, not just in eastern Kentucky, but across the country for decades now. But 20 years ago in Manchester, a community came together to help in the fight against drug abuse, and 2 decades later, the impact of that march is still being felt.
The beautiful thing about the march was that it was there was such low expectation that day. It was raining. It was just like a blah day, cold, and God really created something beautiful that day. You know, 3,500 people came out and marched on a cold, windy, rainy day, and which tells me that these people were passionate about a solution to the problems that we were having.
And there will be another march this year. It will begin Sunday, May 5th at 3:30 in the afternoon at EKU's campus in Manchester. Officials with the Kentucky Community and Technical College System have announced 2 interim school presidents. Todd Brand will serve as the interim president of Big Sandy Community and Technical College. Patsy Jackson will serve as the interim president for Southeast Kentucky Community and Technical College. Both have at least 20 years experience in education. Jackson and Brand will begin their roles on May 6th.
We are still tracking a few showers this evening, but drier air is on the way for tonight. Those details coming up. Plus,
one Eastern Kentucky county has a new location centered around economic development.